OVERT, senior editor of the Washington Free Beacon, joins us live from Washington. Bill, what do you read into this?
Well, Brian, I think it's pretty clear that, when I asked the Air Force spokeswoman why the Russians were doing this, she told me to ask the Russians, which is kind of a joke. I think this was clearly a simulated nuclear attack on the United States, and it's not the first time. This is actually the third incident where Russian strategic bombers have come close to U.S. coast. The last one in June was part of a major strategic exercise where a Russian general actually said they were practicing targeting our missile defense bases in Alaska and California.
Объект разрушен. Возвращаемся на базу.
Also said he would gladly pilot one of the aircraft.
Russian strategic bombers, Tu-160s, have landed in Venezuela.
Yes.
Spokeswoman for the Pacific Air Force in Hawaii confirmed that just days ago, 2 nuclear-armed bombers from Russia circled the U.S. territory of Guam before being intercepted by American military jets. Is this proof that Russia is becoming a greater threat to the U.S. than the administration has let on?
Bombers and spy planes have approached Japanese airspace 5 times since last month.
Several Japanese self-defense force fighter jets were scrambled early Wednesday after Russian military aircraft were spotted near Japan's airspace. The ministry says that 2 bombers stayed near the Japanese archipelago for 12 hours, while the A-50 circled over waters of San-in for 9 hours. The A-50 is equipped with an early airborne warning and control system. At around midday, another 2 Su-24 surveillance planes approached Japanese airspace between Hokuriku and Hokkaido in northern Japan. They stayed over the Sea of Japan for several hours.
One of those 4 Russian bomber aircraft actually flew twice over the deck of the USS Nimitz aircraft carrier, which was sailing in the Western Pacific out of Japan. It flew 2,000 feet off the deck of the carrier. The Russian bombers were trailed by 4 F-18 fighters. No shots fired, no verbal communication even between the 2 sides, but something that the U.S. is not very happy about, obviously. The Russians, for the last several months, as you know, have been stepping up their strategic bomber flights, their long-range patrols out of the Pacific area of Russia, flying into the Western Pacific, flying near the Alaskan coast. It's not the first time, but flying twice over the deck of a U.S. aircraft carrier is not something the Navy likes to see.
Within 24 hours of the President's visit here to Canada last week, we did scramble 2 F-18 fighter planes from NORAD and Canada Command. They met a Russian aircraft that was approaching Canadian airspace. And as they have done on previous occasions, they sent very clear signals that are understood that that aircraft was to turn around, turn tail, and head back to its own airspace, which it did. It wouldn't be unusual because we have seen previous activities in the north, but they have increased. It's difficult to say whether this was a coincidence or it was an effort on the part of the Russians to simply perhaps be up to some mischief or cause a bit of a diversion. Clearly, it's a coincidence that it happened at a time when, our security focus would be Ottawa. I'm not going to stand here and accuse the Russians of having deliberately done this during the presidential visit, but it was a strong coincidence.
Понял. Второй на боевом. Сопровождайте своего. Понял. Произвел. В воздухе. Второй, дайте угол. Второй, принял. Цель атакую. Второй, сброс. Объект разрушен. Возвращаемся на базу.